hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, what did Kenny get for his birthday? Well, last year we featured a show on what did Kenny get for his birthday, and it was just a way to show you the sort of things that I'm interested in and what my family got for me. Now, of course, I give my family a list so they know exactly what it is that I want. So, without further ado, let's head over to the bench and see what I got. Now, I'll start off with just a fun little item that I received, and what that is these. And it is 50 steel ball bearings. They're about the size of a standard marble. I have some plans for these for a later show. I don't want to get too much into that, but the fact that they're about the size of the marbles will hopefully give you some kind of an idea as to what I have in mind. So look for these on a future show. Now, a couple of the other things that I received were these. And what these are upcut, just be very careful because they're sharp here, but they're upcut spiral bits for the router. I have been wanting to try some of these for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to purchasing them. So I asked for some for my birthday, and ask and ye shall receive sort of thing. So I've got a 1/4 inch one, and I've also got a 5/16. Now here's the funny thing. This is a 1/4 inch shank, which is fine. This is a 5/16 shank. Does not fit into a standard router collet, which are normally 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. So as well, in order to make that bit usable, I received a 5/16 to 1/2 inch collet adapter, and that will allow me to fit the 5/16 bit perfectly in a 1/2 inch collet and make it usable. And I'm really looking forward to trying these out, and hopefully you'll see these as well on future episodes of the show. Well, where you've seen me make these shop-made versions of a ruler stop, I got for my birthday, I like saying that, for my birthday, Veritas ruler stop. So just like my shop ones, this one just slides over top of the ruler. You snug it down, and it will, in fact, lock in with a little rubber clip here so it doesn't damage your ruler, and you can lock in your measurement and then use it against your stock. Just a fun little gadget, and although my shop ones work just fine, I really like this one. Well, one of the other gifts that I got for this year was this. And what is it? You guys have seen me use these on the show a million times, and it is a new set of calipers. And my wife asked me, well, what's the difference between these and your other set? And I said, absolutely nothing, other than the size. These are the smaller version, and you can see they fit into my hand. Instead of having the extension out here of the extra length of the ruler, sometimes when working with my models or smaller pieces, it's nice to have the smaller caliper where you don't have them so finicky or out of balance. Sometimes it's nice to have the smaller unit here just to use it. And you know what? That's what it's all about for your birthday. It's not necessarily about what you need, but it's more about what you want. And this is nothing more than a luxury for me. Well, on my show, you've seen me utilize something called a jeweler's drill quite a few times. And this time, I got one of these. And what this is a pin vise. And it is very similar to the jeweler's drill, with the exception of this is completely manual. So as you turn it, there is no mechanism to help you turn it, and you have to do it by hand. It makes it a little more precise and a little more, or a lot more, slow acting. The cool thing about this one is that in the handle, it comes with a full set of drill bits for you to use with the pin vise. So that's kind of cool. But believe it or not, sometimes, and I discovered this when I was working on my ships in a bottle, sometimes the jeweler's drill, believe it or not, is a little too aggressive. And as you are operating it, although it doesn't seem like you're spinning it very quickly, the mechanism that causes it to spin is actually causing it to spin quite quickly and more aggressively. And because of that, a few times on the ship in a bottle that I did here on the show, I actually blew the jeweler's drill right through the other side of the boat and into an area that I didn't want. So I thought that this pin vise, where it's all manual and a slow and steady operation, this will hopefully calm that down and make it so that that sort of thing doesn't happen again. And the fact that it comes with a full set of bits and the handle is just one heck of a convenient way to go. Well, this next little item is something that I saw when I was visiting Lee Valley, and I thought that it was a great idea, and you will definitely see it featured soon here on the show, and that's a set of these. Now, what are these? These are the Veritas miter box guides. I'm in the market to have a new miter box for some of my builds and hand done work, and I don't want to purchase one. They can be quite expensive. I'd rather make a shop built one, because in my experience with miter boxes, once you use them for a while, the slots become a little wonky and they don't give you as good results as what they did when you first made them and when you first bought them and that sort of thing. So I'd like to be able to have it so that if it should start failing and start going wonky, I just replace the walls of it. I could probably keep the base or just make a whole new one. They're not a difficult project. So I saw these miter guides and I thought, what a great idea. And I will be featuring these in a show. I'll show you how to make a miter box with them, and I'll report back on how well or how poorly, whichever it goes, they work. But for now, that's what these are. They are miter box guides from Veritas, and I'm looking forward to showcasing these on the program. Well, this is a fun little item, and no, it's not my tape measure. I carry a 10-foot tape in my pocket at all times when I'm in the shop. It's just a handy thing to have, but the problem is that I also keep my remotes in my pocket, which would be things like for the dust collection and the airborne dust collection, as well as my remote for the recording equipment that I use here on the show. So what I've got is one of these, and this is a magnetic tape measure holder, and it comes with a little backing plate, and all you need to do is you remove your stock clip, your belt clip, and you replace it with this disc. And this here now can go clipped onto your belt, and you just pull your tape measure off of the magnet mounting, and you're not messing around with clipping on a belt. The reason I don't have one clipped to my belt is I think it's a pain in the neck to always try to clip it on. I always have problems with it for some reason. So the magnetic one will make it so that I can just snap it on and off my waist whenever I feel like it. Now, is it gimmicky? Probably, but I had one of these for years and years. I used it on the job site for years on end. I used it so much that I actually wore it out. It just, how do you wear out a magnet? It wasn't the magnet that wore out, it was the actual casing over years of use and abuse. So I can attest that these things are fantastic, and I'm glad that I have one back in my shop, and it'll make where to store this little guy here much easier, and it's gonna save on my remotes too, because I really hate the way they're getting scuffed up the way they are. Well, the next little thing that I got was some of these. And what are these? Well, these are rare earth magnet hooks. And this is the 1-inch size, and these ones actually hold up to 26.5 pounds. Now, there are several times here in the shop that I want to hang something up on my door, whether it be my keys when I come in every day, because I place them down on the bench or on a shelf or whatever, and I don't have an actual home for them. So I can snap one of these onto my metal door of the shop, or onto my tool chest, or onto the fireboards behind my wood stove. I can hang my keys, I can hang my apron over on the door, that sort of thing. They're more of a functional item here for me than they are a fun little item, but they come in a set of 3, and I'm going to guarantee you that these are going to be extremely useful in the shop. The first thing I did when I got them is came out and hung my apron off my tool chest to see if they would hold the weight of my apron and all the stuff in my pockets, and sure enough they do. So these are going to be great, they're going to be really handy, and I'm looking forward to using them. Well, several times on my show you have probably seen me use this stuff. And what this is a high friction tape that I place on my fingers while carving, whether I'm using power carving or whether I use carving knives or chisels. It helps, does not prevent, but it helps to avoid getting cuts from the chisel should you have an accidental slip and that sort of thing. So what I got basically was a version of this here, which is a flex wrap. And it's essentially the same concept, except this stuff here is much more pliable, much more comfortable and stretchy. It stretches and allows your fingers to move a little better than what this tape does. And while this tape is great because it's reusable and you can pull it off and put it back on your fingers, it can be a little cumbersome if you wrap it too tight or you have too much on. So I thought I would give this stuff a try and just see how it goes. So I'll be reporting back at some point in time and let you know how I like the flex wrap versus the regular high friction protection. Well, one of the other things that I received was this. And what this is it's a bushing for a drill bit, but not just any drill bit. It's a rather large drill bit, which is a 3/4 inch diameter. What this is for is I need a way to drill more bench dog holes into my bench, but these ones here, my original holes, were done on a drill press, so they're nice and straight and square, and I really didn't want to risk drilling into my bench to get a crooked hole. So what I asked for and what I received was this bushing that will guide the bit down into the bench squarely. So you have to make a little jig for that, and I'll probably feature that on the show as well, just to show you guys how it works. But I'm looking forward to using this, and hopefully it will give me some nice clean square bench dog holes, because I have other things that I need to mount. And that brings me to the next gift that I got. Well, the next thing that I got is this. And it looks very similar to the drill bit guide to drill the bench dog holes, but what it is a reduction flange, or a reduction fitting for your bench dog hole. And it just sits in here like that. And what may be the purpose of this? Well, it's so that I can use my next gift. Well, although the next gift did come with this mounting bracket, it's a pretty standard style bracket for this sort of thing. I really wanted it to mount like this. And what the gift is a new magnifying lamp for my bench. I work on several small pieces and my eyes are not what they used to be. And whenever I'm scrolling, I always use a magnifier, an illuminated magnifier. And I love the one at my scroll saw, but whenever I worked at the bench, I needed one to transfer back and forth because I kept taking my scroll saw one. So this one here is what I asked for my birthday. Now this has a 5-inch lens up here, has a great little dust cover, has a very bright light LED underneath to magnify. The lens in it is a 3 diopter lens, so it gives some great magnifications, And I think this is going to be a fantastic addition to the shop. And once I get some new dog holes drilled at the back section here, it will be off to the side, out of the way, and I'll be able to mount this however I like and use it on the bench. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's definitely going to be a plus and a bonus for me here in the shop. Well, the next gift I got, and I really like this one as well, is a 12-inch scale ruler. And normally with a scale ruler, they're kind of like a triangle shape, and depending on how you flip them, that's the scale that you're using. Now this one here is just a little bit different. Let me just turn it around here so you can see it. What it has is a 6-sided bar here in the middle. This is a 1/4 inch scale. So in other words, 1 inch on the scale equals 4 feet. It's a 1 to 4. If we turn it here, now we're going to go to a 1/2. So every 1 inch is equal to 2 feet, and the scale and the numbers represent that. So you can turn it again. There's a 3 to 16 scale. So 3 inches equals 16 feet. And it's just so unique. I really, really like this, how I don't have to keep flipping the ruler now. I can leave the ruler flat and straight. It's aluminum. It's an aluminum casing, and I can just turn it to the scale that I want and then use the ruler as you normally would. It's got a regular 12-inch scale on the one side, and then of course your different scales on the opposite side. So this thing here, well, you know what, when I'm drawing out the plans, I remember when I did the replica of my Jeep build, the measuring and calculating that went on was crazy because I couldn't find my scale. And then now I've got this one. This thing would have been an absolute godsend at that point while I was working on that model. But although I didn't have it then, I have it now, and it will definitely assist me in future builds. Well, you're probably thinking at this point, oh my gosh, how much longer can this go on? Well, there's only a couple of gifts that are left. And one of them is this little miniature pair of pliers. Now, this is a fairly inexpensive item, but they are sturdy as heck. They feel great. They've got a good handle, a nice rubberized handle there. They are spring-loaded, so you can use them 2 fingers if you have to. And what I got these for, I don't know if you guys have seen those little miniature metal models, and you punch out the pieces and you have to put tab A into slot B, and you twist this tab or bend that tab, and eventually you end up with a metal model of maybe a Star Wars figure or that sort of thing. Well, I enjoy making those in the winter when I can't get to my shop during the week. I enjoy sitting down at my desk in my office, and just because I can't create sawdust, I like to make those models. So these little pliers, I'm hoping, will be a great asset in making them. And I just love the way they feel. It's almost therapeutic here to play with the spring action of them. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit twisted, who knows? But there you go, there's another thing that I got, a little miniature pair of pliers. And guys, these aren't very expensive. It's like $7, 7 and change. Well, the very last item that I got for my birthday, and I'm really excited to try this and give it a whirl. I've had my eye on it for years, and then just I couldn't bring myself to put out the money because it's not cheap, but somebody did put out the money for me, and that is the micro dial tapering jig. Now, this is for use with my grippers. That is the best way to use this. You can use it on wider boards without them, but it is designed to use with your grippers, and I love those things as well, as you know. So I'm looking forward very soon on the show to bringing this to your attention, cracking open the box, assembling this, and taking it through some of the paces. And then a few months or a few projects down the road, when I've had a chance to give this a really good workout and form an opinion of how much I like or dislike, or what I like and what I dislike, I'll bring it to you as a review. So there you go. That is the last thing that I got for my birthday, the micro dial tapering jig. And there you have it. what Kenny got for his birthday. Guys, I'm lucky. I have a very generous family, and they listen when I give them a list. I mean, you reach a certain age in your life and you really don't need anything. So it seems that the older you get, people struggle with what to get you for birthdays or Christmases, anniversaries, that sort of thing. And the problem is that as we get older, we just buy what we want or we buy what we need. And then when birthdays come around, it's a struggle. But I'm lucky enough that I want enough stuff that I can always provide a list, and my family listens to that list. Guys, I got some really cool stuff this year, and although some of it may not seem that interesting to some of you, you know what? I like them, and I thank my family very much for their generosity. It's spectacular. Guys, I'm looking forward to bringing you things here on the show, like making the miter box and the tapering jig and that sort of thing. And hopefully soon you're going to see those episodes here on the show. I'm going to post a link to everything down below in case any of you are interested. Please don't leave comments like, oh my gosh, that's expensive, or that sort of thing. We know that some things are not exactly cheap. But if it interests you, at least you will have the links down below that you can purchase some of this stuff for yourself if you're interested in it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. Once again, it's been a lot of fun. Sometimes it's nice to step away from the norm of making things and giving instructionals and just have a little chat about things that happen in my life or things that I'm fortunate enough to have given me, such as the gifts that I received for my birthday this year. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so that you don't miss the notifications of future episodes of the show. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you've had some fun with me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the content here. If you haven't seen some of this before, I hope I've introduced you to something new and maybe sparked an interest for you. And I honestly hope, guys, that you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesday.